Have you ever had trouble remembering information? Lines of writing like this. When I was at school, one way I used to learn was this. I used to read. And reading's a great way to learn, isn't it? But you know, sometimes my expression would be a bit like this. Because what I used to find was that sometimes I'd be reading all these lines and they just weren't going in. Is this familiar to you? And I'd sometimes turn the paper over and try and remember it, and my mind had just gone blank. And I couldn't remember anything. And then I'd start to get really worried. I'd start to sweat and fret and get all anxious, especially if it got nearer to the examination. And I thought to myself, I'm never going to remember any of this. And I also thought to myself, there must be an easier way, mustn't there? And there is. Because if we take that information and we turn it into a picture with a drawing, we remember it. Because when we draw, we remember more. But you know the only trouble with that? People say, that's a great idea, but I can't draw. But I believe everybody can draw, certainly well enough to make learning memorable. And today I'd like to show you how to do that. We're going to start building up our visual toolkit with, firstly, a circle. So get your paper ready. Let's have a go. Have your paper this way round like the flip chart. And we're going to start by simply drawing a circle like that. Next, what I'd like you to do is draw two more circles and make them into eyes. Then a nose, and then a nice smile. And now over here, let's try another one. Some more eyes, this time looking in this way, and a nose. And this time, let's do a different expression. A circle, which we can shade in, and we've got a shocked expression. Let's try one more. Just down here, another circle. And this time, draw the eyes, but looking upward. And then a nose. And now, watch carefully. If you blink, you might miss it. A thoughtful expression. So, that's our first shape in our visual toolkit, a circle. And everything we're going to do is going to be as easy as that. So, just turn your page over. And we're going to build our visual toolkit up. This time, again, have your page in portrait style. And we're going to begin over here. And the first shape we're going to do is a diamond. So just draw that. Then we think, what could we make it into? Put a triangle on the end. Now I'm going to put a little eye there. And a smile. Got a little fish. Perhaps some bubbles. There we are. In the center, draw a circle. Now, connect the circle with a line to the fish. We'll call that number 1. Now, draw a line up here. We'll call that number 2. We're going to do a circle again. Just watch. Here it goes. And next, a couple of eyes looking that way. And now, a nose and a smile. Something different. 2 triangles on the top. And next, 3 lines this way, 3 lines that way. And we've got a cat. Let's go over this way. Number 3. Let's draw a circle at the top. Now let's draw a line down. And then another line here to make a leg. Next, we're going to draw a line out that way. And now an arm to the side and the other one up like that. So we've got a figure. And if we put 2 little lines there, could be a dancer. Let's draw number 4. That's going to be a triangle. And let's see what shape we could make that into. And what picture we could make it into it looks like a boat with another triangle and a little line underneath. We could even put a flag on top and a bit of water there. Next, come down here, number 5. We're going to draw a rectangle. Just watch, just like that. And let's put some circles here for wheels. We could make a little bus out of that rectangle. A horizontal line, 2 lines vertically for windows, and some people who are inside the bus. Next, let's draw a vertical line. Number 6. A totally different shape this time. Let's go with a shape that looks a bit like a cloud, but 2 vertical lines below, and we can make it into a tree. Finally, number 7, down here. We haven't done a square yet. Let's do a square, and we can put a triangle on top so we combine the shapes in our visual toolkit, a little door, and a couple of windows. So there we are. We've used the shapes in our visual toolkit to create pictures, and of course we could create many more different pictures with that. But the wonderful thing is the amazing power of your mind to see pictures when they're not there. Because as you look at the picture now, by just taking a mental picture, kind of going click in your mind, you can actually remember not only the pictures, but exactly where they're located on the page. So just turn your paper over so you can't see, and let's do a little experiment here and just have a look. What I'm going to ask you to do now, I'm going to point to different places on the flip chart. And only when I point to the fish do I want you to put your hand up. So, do you think the fish is up here? No. Is the fish over here? Is the fish here? Thank goodness for that. What about the bus? Is the bus up here? Is the bus down here? You've got it, haven't you? So, in fact, you could remember any of them that I'd asked. And even if I'd made it more complicated, you probably could remember most of those drawings. So, drawing is a good way of remembering, and there's some terrific research around this. A particular study was done at the University of Waterloo in Canada. And what they did was they asked people to remember 30 words. And they gave them 40 seconds per word. And they could either write the words for 40 seconds and list them. So say a word like balloon. They were all simple words like that. They wrote them. Or the other task they were asked to do was draw a simple picture of it. So there's my balloon. Then they were given a sort of distraction task, like a kind of filler task that was to do with music, so completely different. And then a surprise memory test. What did they find? What they found was that people typically remembered twice as many pictures when they'd drawn them compared with when they'd written them. So double the number of words were remembered when they'd been drawn. And I thought that was terrific, of course. And the other thing I thought was really fascinating about it was the quality of the drawings didn't appear to matter. In other words, people didn't need to be artistically brilliant in order to create a drawing that stuck in their mind. And they even looked at other ways of remembering to compare with drawing. So, for example, they got people to visualize words. They got people to write descriptions of words. And they got people to look at pictures of words. In every single case, drawing always came out on top. So drawing was a great way to remember that list of words. And in my experience, drawing can help us to remember much more than lists. We can remember facts, we can remember abstract concepts, even whole topics with drawing. And I'd like to show you how we can do that. One of the keys is to link a picture and a meaning. So let me give you an example. Here we go. We've seen this before. We've got our tree. We could ask ourselves, what does the tree mean? It could mean lots of things, couldn't it? It might mean life. It could mean growth. It could mean stability. And you could think of lots of other meanings. And incidentally, that's a fantastic thing about our drawing toolkit, because once we can draw something like that tree, we can link it to many, many different concepts and ideas. So it's useful to be able to use our visual toolkit in this way. But of course, when we're trying to remember information, we don't get the picture first. We've got the information first, or the concept. And then we have to think of a picture. So we have to start getting used to thinking in pictures. So, for example, if I said to you a concept such as innovation, you might think, what picture comes to mind? Well, I'm thinking of a spark, or I'm thinking of a light bulb. We could think of many more. So it's about thinking in pictures. So let's get a bit of practice at thinking in pictures. Now, I could take any topic, and I'm going to pick a topic from biology. And incidentally, I am not a biologist, but one of the things that I'm led to believe is that white blood cells, one of the things that they're very good for is defending us against germs. In fact, apparently they engulf bacteria and they render them totally harmless. So really good to have white blood cells. Let's think of what picture comes to mind. You could think of lots of things, and of course, what's important is that the picture that you think of makes sense to you. We're all individual. But I was thinking of using my visual toolkit to create a little character that's a white blood cell. There he is. And why is he looking so happy? Well, he's looking particularly happy because he's got a shield, same shape as the fish. And he's got stop written on it. And there we are. He's holding it up. And the reason he's holding it up is because he's defending us. And he's defending us against, see this shape, a little bit like the tree? But this time, I'm going to make it into a germ. There he is. Give him some legs. And he's looking particularly unhappy. In fact, he's completely fed up because he's got his arms in the air because he's surrendering. He's been completely defeated by the white blood cell. So once we've got a picture like that, we'll remember it. And we can do things like add colour to pictures, which is great because the brain does love colour. So let's take an example of an abstract concept. Here's one. Trust. We might think, how could we possibly remember that or illustrate that? And people often say, oh, you need to draw a handshake. Some of you might be thinking, that's tricky to draw. A little tip from me, there's always an easier picture. And I'm going to show you a picture that somebody came up with on a workshop that I was running. And it went like this. Have you ever had the experience of someone else coming up with an idea that you'd wished you'd thought of yourself? Because as I started drawing this, I thought, this is so simple. You can see where I'm going with it, can't you? Little figure on the top. There we are. Helping us to remember trust. Okay. And here we go. I wonder just how well you can remember those 7 pictures that we had earlier on. I'd like you to take a blank piece of paper out, make sure you hide the original. We'll do a little experiment here. And I want you to just draw the circle and the 7 lines on that paper and have about a minute to just start drawing in all the pictures you can remember. So I'll give you some time just starting from now. Now, you may or may not get all of them. That's fine. If you get stuck on one, just look at the flip chart and pretend they're all there. Just see if you can see them in your mind. You may want to put the numbers on. There's a lot of concentrating going on. Can help each other out a little bit there.